Hello, I'm Harrison Keeley. Here's a quick look at today's top stories. First of all, the Chattanooga City Council has voted to extend benefits to same-sex couples. The council passed the first reading of the controversial bill last night. It would extend benefits to any city employee in a domestic partnership. The bill squeaked by with a 5-4 vote. Russell Gilbert, Larry Grohn, Chip Henderson, and Ken Smith voted against it. Opponents cited their personal beliefs, argued that the bill bypasses the state constitution, and said it would be too costly for the city. But advocates say it's a simple matter of treating everyone the same. If finalized next Tuesday, Chattanooga will become the second major city in Tennessee to expand benefits to same-sex couples. A Catoosa County teenager was shot to death by a homeowner during an attempted robbery. The sheriff's department says two teens were looking for scrap metal at an old home they thought was abandoned. But 69-year-old Fred Youngblood was home. Authorities say he grabbed his pistol and confronted the boys. When he yelled for them to get out, the sheriff says both ran toward him and he feared for his life. He shot 17-year-old Dalton McConaughey in the side of the neck. The teen later died at the hospital. The boy's getaway driver, Ansley Schrinelager, also faces burglary charges. In a tragic story, the mother of a nursing student whose life was brutally ended last year has been found dead. 24-year-old Megan Sharpton was raped and killed. Her body found set on fire along a road in Franklin County last year. In the months since, 47-year-old Kelly Sharpton of Tullahoma struggled with the loss of her daughter.
Justice is kind of a funny word. Justice is a word for this world. It's not a word for families and victims.
On Friday, the mother took her own life in a Chattanooga hotel. Kelly was a graphic designer at Arnold Air Force Base. Her daughter's accused killer, Donnie Jones Jr., faces first-degree murder, kidnapping, and rape charges and pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to spend the rest of his life in prison. A South Pittsburgh police officer who arrested a city official has been fired. The city commission voted unanimously to fire Sergeant Paul West. The officer arrested City Administrator Sammy Burrows on Friday on charges of speeding and reckless driving, obstruction of officer rights, and resisting arrest. Burrows admitted to the speeding, but argued his arrest was due to a local power struggle. When asked why the officer was fired, commissioners moved to adjourn the meeting. Authorities say a pregnant woman was able to stop a robber by punching him. Officers say the robber tried to steal lottery tickets from a gas station in Catoosa County. That's when the clerk, who is 9 months pregnant, knocked him to the floor. She says her immediate reaction was to protect herself since she has a 6-year-old at home and another child on the way. Police say the suspect is still on the run, but likely won't be visiting that gas station again. That story comes to us from our news partners at WRCB. UTC professor Richard Wilson has been arrested on a DUI charge. Dr. Wilson's been with the university since 1971 and is a professor of political science there. He also previously served as Hamilton County election chief and ran for Hamilton County mayor last year. Police say he was pulled over after his pickup truck was seen sitting at a green light for an unreasonable amount of time. He also faces charges of driving without a license and failing to yield to an emergency vehicle. He's scheduled to appear in court December 2nd. In sports news, 2 prep football coaches are resigning. Heritage High School coach Tim James says the time is right for him to step down and let someone else take over. And John Allen, coach at Chattanooga's Central High School, has resigned following the Pounders' loss in their playoff game. Allen will remain at the school for the time being as a teacher. Also, Coahulla Creek High School coach Jared Hamlin is also leaving. He was told by school officials his contract wouldn't be renewed. While the Atlanta Braves make plans to move a few miles closer to Chattanooga in 2017, their current home, Turner Field, will be left behind. Now, the city of Atlanta says it plans to demolish the old baseball stadium. The mayor says Atlanta hoped to keep the team downtown but couldn't afford to do so. He says the city would have had to take on up to $250 million in debt. The current field, which is less than 20 years old, will be replaced with a huge housing development for the middle class. In entertainment news, auditions for 2 lead roles in the next Star Wars film are coming to Tennessee. Talent Scouts are holding open casting calls in Nashville November 24th. The studio is looking for a young woman around 18 years old and a man in his early 20s. The auditions will take place at the downtown Sheridan from noon to 5 p.m. The next film, Star Wars Episode 7, is scheduled to hit theaters in December 2015. Finally, a tiny North Georgia church with just 30 members has sewn more than 500 dresses for Operation Christmas Child. Catholic Community Church in Lafayette was the #1 supplier for Operation Christmas Child in Northwest Georgia last year. The shoeboxes are distributed annually to children in more than 130 countries. This year, the church plans to ship more than 1,000 boxes in all. Turning to weather, today will be sunny with a high near 47 degrees. The low tonight will be around 26. That's today's newscast. Thanks for being with us. You can find more on these stories and breaking news all day long at timesfreepress.com.